live. We up live. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Of course, y'all know this is Gye-Nyame Journey. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I am your host, Brother Hatim, and I'm coming at you live with tribal quotes. We're going to run through these 3 quotes real quick, break them down, and keep it moving. Feel free to join us. Of course, you know it's a Heart of a Simple production, and we strive to blow up those old paradigms. Now, first things first, we need to put on that solo music. We're going to go with Cannon today. It's Cannon's turn. Sending shouts out to Kid Magic Rock for providing me with the music. Alright, so we got it down low. We about to turn it up a little bit. So, of course, you know, those that don't know the basic rules for Gye-Nyame Journey. The basic rules are very simple for tribal quotes. On tribal quotes, we explore the proverbs. We explore proverbs and quotes from people that are wise. You know what I'm saying? I try to always have at least one from someplace in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes more, but you know, usually that works out, but sometimes it don't. Tonight it'll work out for us. What I want to do real quick, just to remind some of y'all, because this is the second to the last show, so that y'all can go back. If you go back to session 1, on session 1, I basically do the breakdown of how to use the proverbs. You know, those that want to get the book, you can purchase the book, and you can walk all the way through all of the steps, because I got all of the steps laid out right here. I got it all broke down into 91.25 days. So that you be going work through whatever it is you want to work through. So go on, check it out. All right. But now, what I want to do is for those that's out there that want to join the show, hit me up at 614-556-4535. The lines are up, and if not, I'll just run through them myself. Right. So. First things first. Now, yesterday we had a great show. I was joined on the show last night by Sister Janice out of Detroit, the teacher, also known as the teacher. And I was joined by Brother D. It was a great show last night. The folktale that we worked on last night was called The Ass and the Old Shepherd, and we got down. We broke that down, right? But you go to the timeline on Gye-Nyame Journey, and you can basically click on it and get those shows. Now, also, I had the fortune of taking my son to the movie today. I took him and two of his friends, two of his cousins, to the movie today, and I got to do a movie review with them. So I would appreciate if you check out the movie review on Batman vs. Superman. I gave it a 6 out of 10. My son Cleveland gave it a 7 out of 10. My nephew Bub gave it an 8 out of 10. And Idris, being the roughest out of all of us, gave it a 5 out of 10. So you can average those numbers up, and you can get basically what our review was. I'll talk a little bit about the movie in the morning, because you know some other stuff that I have to hit on. But to make a long story short, the movie tried to do too many things at one time. It tried to cover too many stories for 2 hours. It tried to cover too many characters. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not saying don't go see it. I'm not saying that. I mean, it's worth to go see. The fight scenes are good, even though I believe it was too short. But those of you that read comic books, you'll realize that they try to put too much into that short film. I mean, I honestly think they actually had three movies all wrapped up into one. This ends a long-standing argument about who could win a fight. between Batman and Superman. Well, kinda, you know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, we know that Superman could just burn up Bruce Wayne's brain, but you know that's neither here or there. So we on tribal quotes today. Let me get through this because I got some other stuff that I need to do tonight. So those that want to join, hit me up at 614-556-4535. We'll talk a little bit more about the movie on the morning quickie. I'm going to cover a couple minutes of that. Then we're going to get straight to the news because some good news popping up. The Great Pumpkins back in the news. We got white teens being sprayed. You know what I'm saying? And just making news when we know black teens been getting sprayed. But hey, we got to call out what it is, right? We got Mariah Carey. Some fuckery from Mariah Carey in the news, right? So we're going to probably cover that tomorrow. It depends on how the timeline flows. But hey, here we go. All right. Let me read these first. I'm going to read all three, then we'll come back and start breaking them down, all right? Choice, not circumstances, determines your success. That's from Anonymous. Not the group Anonymous, it's just Anonymous who that quote is from. The worst form of inequality is to try to make unequal things equal. Aristotle. The last one, when people eat eggs, they do not remember the pains the hen went through laying them. That's from Africa. All right. So, what we're going to do, we're going to take a small break and we'll come back and we'll hit each one of those.
Mommy, can you do?
The word is spreading. More and more people are switching to Ambit Energy.
Well, one of my neighbors switched, and then I switched. Now the whole neighborhood has Ambit.
Who doesn't want to save money?
The word is spreading. Switching to Ambit Energy is rewarding in more ways than one.
I signed up and got a travel reward. That's nice.
Oh, I get to save on energy and on travel?
There's a cruise for two out there just a few thousand kilowatts away. I can almost smell the sunscreen.
The word is spreading. Ambit Energy even lets you earn free energy.
When I get 15 friends to switch, I get free energy. I have 15 friends. At least I think I do.
Hey, I'd be telling people to switch to Ambit anyway.
If you'd like to switch to Ambit Energy, listen to the following contact information closely. Then spread the word.
All right, for those that don't know, Gye-Nyame Journey is a consultant of Ambit Energy. Ambit Energy is an approved energy service company that gives you a choice for saving money on your electric bill. By allowing us to serve you, you will be saving money. You can almost guarantee that you're going to save some money. But then also, for those of you that's not just interested in saving energy, you can run your own businesses just like we're doing, work from home, choose your own hours, and earn unlimited income. And it does work. For those that are interested, hit us up at gyenyame.energy526.com. Once again, that's gyenyame.energy526.com. Or you can just call us at 614-594-9422 for all those that are interested in supporting us, because every time you pay your electric bill, you support us, right? Every time you pay your electric bill, you get travel points. Every time you pay your electric bill and maybe add another person up under you, it's a possibility that you get free energy. There's no other energy company that's offering this. And then on top of that, you do nation building too. So, hey, help us out with Ambit Energy. All right, so now let's get back to the show. Let me remind you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. You are now listening to Tribal Quotes. And this is a Heart of a Simba production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigm. So I'm feeling like the number two. I'm feeling like the number two right now. So we're gonna jump right into the number two. Number two, the worst form of inequality is to try to make unequal things equal. Oh, Now, I would love to have some guests on this one because this is one right now that is a major issue in America. Actually, maybe it's all over the world, but let me just say this. I think one of the biggest issues we have is that we are trying to make unequal things equal. Whether we're talking about gender, in some cases when we're talking about race, because we're not all the same. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of y'all can get upset with me. Male and female are not the same. You know what I'm saying? Black and white, we're not the same. You know what I'm saying? And we all have things that we are excellent at. We all have things that we fail at. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us, we haven't learned how to recognize our strengths, the weaknesses of our strengths, right? And understand and recognize the weaknesses in other people's strengths, right? Now, I think it was Einstein that said something like, far as long as you try to measure, as long it's like he used an example. As long as I'm judging of how well a fish climbs a tree, I would never truly understand the intelligence of that fish, because that fish is doing something that it's not supposed to do. Now, for some reason, we all been taught that we are supposed to all be able to do the same things. We are all supposed to be able to, like, for example, this new thing now, we all supposed to use the same bathroom. You know what I'm saying? We all supposed to attend college. We all supposed to have a big house and a car. I mean, the whole piece is that preaching this whole equality across the board is not benefiting anybody, right? It draws up a false narrative that a lot of people are trying to follow, and in trying to follow that false narrative, I honestly believe that it may be destroying some people's lives, right? So when we start looking at some of our ancestors, this is Aristotle. Now, Aristotle comes from a Greek society, you know what I'm saying? And the piece that we have to understand is this: when we take something, and like for example, when we take a square and try to a square peg and try to force it into a round hole, we know we're gonna have problems. As a matter of fact, at one point in time, that was an intelligence test, and people who tried to force a square into a round hole was saw as not intelligent. So what is society trying to do? We have all these squares that we try to put in round holes. You know what I'm saying? We have all these round pegs that we trying to squeeze into a square. It's not intelligent. It's unintelligent. And one is robbing people of being who they are. You know what I'm saying? We like everybody's supposed to be able to do the same thing. Impossible. Impossible. It's not possible. You know what I'm saying? We all got different skills. We all got different sets of things we do. You know what I'm saying? Males are better at some things than females are, and females are better at some things than males are. We kind of mess everything up when we sit up here and be like, oh, this is a social construct. I'm still shocked that people honestly have arguments and have arguments about gender, and the argument is that it's a social construct. Male and female are social constructs. So I guess breasts are social constructs. The difference in breasts is social construct. The different sexual organs is social constructs as well. You know what I'm saying? And we all should be some giant hive of a being where we all are the same and we all have the same skills. I mean, that sounds like a boring ass world. That sounds boring to me. You know what I'm saying? So I have to agree with this one. The worst form of inequality is try to make unequal things equal. Stop lying. Stop being politically correct. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there is a place for political correctness, but now we overdoing it, I honestly believe. So I'm gonna give that one a round of applause. We're gonna move on to the next one. I like that one. The worst form of inequality is trying to make unequal things equal. You know what I'm saying? And even with the tools that we use to measure intelligence and the way that we teach, if certain students are learning in certain ways, you know what I'm saying, we judge them as unintelligent. But some people matured at different levels, at different rates. Some people have different forms of intelligence. I mean, I keep on thinking on this one. I keep on thinking about Boyce Watkins when I'm listening to this, because when he went to school, according to the story that he tells, he didn't do that well in high school. You know what I'm saying? But when he started applying himself, right, it was totally different for him. He had a totally different college experience. You know what I'm saying? Because he was allowed to explore and find something that he was interested in, and he was able to pursue what it is he wanted to do. And now he's a doctor. Somebody who was struggling in high school is now a doctor, right? So how many other young people are we robbing of all these opportunities, all these different things that could be in the world by putting them in a system that tries to identify, first off, telling them all that they are equal. It doesn't identify where their skills are and don't care where their skills are. And it just tries to educate and treat everybody exactly the same. You can't run a family like that. You can't run a business like that. I mean, even though people try to tell us we're supposed to run our business like that, in some means, I'm just totally lost. Because we try to treat everybody exactly the same. And for me, that's some bullshit. That's just my personal piece. And like I said, that's why I call it an internet call-in show. You know what I'm saying? So feel free to hit me up and give me your opinion at 614-556-4535, right? Because this is my opinion, right? I open up the show so that we can get your opinion as well. All right. Let's see where we at. All right. Cool. We're going to go to number 1. Choice, not circumstances, determine your success. Choices. You know what I'm saying? We all have choices. And a lot of people say, I am where I am because of circumstances. And a lot of myself, as well as some of my compatriots, are guilty of this. We blame the circumstance for where we are. I mean, really, and I'm gonna put this. I need to talk with the black community. Listen up, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's our choices, not the circumstances. I know what we came out of, and I know what we're up against, but it's still a factor of the choices that we're making, right? And we can't keep blaming others for where we are. Now, we can look at what has been set in place. We can start formulating strategies, right? But we still have to always look at the fact that we make choices. Now, just because I don't know that there's more choices on the table and I only got 2 of them, I feel I only got 2, just because I don't know there's more than that, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't, how can I put it? That doesn't justify me being, how can I put it? Ignorance of the fact that there are more choices out there is not okay, and I can't justify people being ignorant of more choices out there, because a lot of us think we only got a limited amount of choices, when in fact we have a whole bunch. We got to step outside of the box, or we got to learn new things so that we can see differently. And a lot of us are content in seeing the way we're seeing. When we get more information, we automatically start shutting down. So, because it's easier, how can I put it? When I say that it's the circumstances, right, that takes a responsibility away from me. I could blame everything but myself. You know what I'm saying? I could be satisfied in the fact that it's not me. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of us are comfortable with that. And as men, right, as men in this world, as a man, I can't be satisfied with blaming the circumstances for where I am in my life. You know what I'm saying? I have to look and be like, damn, you know, I hold some responsibility in this, because some of the choices that I have made have put me in some messed up situations, right? And when I start taking power over some of those decisions, and I start taking responsibility for those decisions, it empowers me and equips me to be able to make better decisions in the future, right? So, when Anonymous, whoever said this, choices, not circumstances, determines your success, right? It really is your choices, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, because like I said, I know we got to get up out of this. It's so comfortable being like, yo, it's not my fault. It's the white man. It's the economic system. It's capitalism. It's democracy. It's the education. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, as adults, men and women, we got to step back and be like, what choices did I make? I didn't have to just stick with that education. I could have continued teaching myself. I could have continued my learning. You know what I'm saying? I could have made different choices at point A, B, and C in my life. You know what I'm saying? Instead of staying up and watching sports, I could have been watching something about some information. You know what I'm saying? I could have got some information. I could have tried. I could have attempted a business. I could have tried a whole bunch of different things. And then if it didn't work, I look at the lesson that I got out there and made a different choice. Many of us just stop. You know what I'm saying? We start making choices and we just allow for the fates to fall as they may. And that's one of the worst things that we can do. It's horrible, right? So, you know, that's a nice one. I'm done with that one. Let me go on. Blow it up. Choices, not circumstances, determine your success. So get out and get it. Make some different choices. You know what I'm saying? You know, I want people to understand. I do understand that circumstances do play a factor. But even in the circumstances, you have a choice. We have a choice as a community. We have a choice in which direction our dollars flow. We have a choice in what direction we point our children. We have choices. And we need to start making the proper choices. We need to start making empowered choices and powerful choices. If we don't, you know what I'm saying, we can't blame nobody else. Because blaming the circumstances may relieve us of guilt, but it does nothing for the future generations. Empower yourself by giving yourself the ability to make choices. So at least if you mess up, you can take responsibility for it. I'm trying to tell you, when we start, as men, when we start taking responsibility for the good and the bad decisions we make, oh my God, it's so empowering. You ought to feel it. Some of y'all out there, you know, some of y'all have spent your whole life blaming circumstances and allowing shit to fall in the way that it appears that it should be, right? But I'm telling you, there's a better way out there. Make some choices. All right. So let's keep it moving. I think I blew it up already. I'm going to give that one a round of applause. All right, we're going to move to this last one, and then we're going to shut it down. Here we go. Oh, wow, the police is running out here. Y'all thought that was my siren. Well, one of them was my siren. When people eat eggs, they do not remember the pain that the hen went through laying them. All right? This one goes to the fact, and it's like all these are my perspectives, so please understand, you have opportunity to call in, you have opportunity to comment after the show as well, because we keep these conversations going on any one of these. We keep these conversations going. The goal is to get you to grow, right? So in all things that we eat, drink, all things that we use, like right now I'm sitting at a table, you know what I'm saying? We never really think about the work that it takes in order for us to be where we are. You know what I'm saying? Whether we're talking about eggs or we're talking about our career, or whether we're talking about our career, we never think about all of the steps that went into preparing you or preparing something for you. We don't even look at our lives and look at all the steps that it took for the world to be prepared for us. All of the people that had to come before you in order for you to even exist. The work that it took for you to live the life that you're living right now. To drive the car that you're driving right now. You know what I'm saying? We forget about the pain that was there. You know what I'm saying? That pain is a reality that we have to face, that we have to really start looking at, because when we start paying attention to that process, right, we start learning how things work. And in learning how things work, it makes it better for us when we're using it, right? So when we remember the pain that the hen went through, or we remember the pain that the tree went through to provide you with the furniture that you're sitting on as you're listening to this. Or if we remember where the minerals came in mining to get most of this equipment that we're using, whether we're watching flat screen TVs or whether you listen to me over your phone. You know what I'm saying? A mass amount of pain and work and drudgery went into making it possible to do what you do. Now, that brings up a few things. One, respect for those people that make it possible and who have made it possible for you to be where you are. That's why we pour libations. You know what I'm saying? That's why we pray for all the countless thousands that make it possible for us to live in the way that we live here in America. I mean, I want you to think about it. Some of y'all out there drinking coffee, drinking Colombian or Brazilian or Blue Mountain Jamaican coffee. That shit didn't grow in your backyard. Somebody somewhere is putting in pain. I mean, they're sweating, to make sure that that coffee is picked and dried and ground and prepared and ready for you. Understanding those steps, right? And us understanding those steps, we can make sure that our children start understanding those steps. Why is it important for our children to understand the steps? For the egg that they get, for the table that they use, or the desk that they sit at school. Because when they understand that process, as a business person, they can start learning to take advantage of the process. As a business person, they can start learning how to use the process to elevate their life and their way of living. Because in recognizing and being able to have empathy for what it took for something to be where it is, you pay attention to the path that it walked. And in paying attention to the path that it walked, you are better able to get more of what you got. Being grateful, showing respect. You know what I'm saying? Those two major principles. And to take both of those. This proverb is talking about both of those. You know what I'm saying? Remembering, when people eat eggs, they do not remember the pain the hen went through laying them. You know what I'm saying? Be grateful. Show respect for the things that do you know that when you sip in that cup of water, there's people all over the world that don't have a cup of water? And do you know what the process was to make sure that that water was clean for you and where it may have come from? How about the fruit that you eat? Who picked it? Who washed it? Who transported it to the store? Who planted the seed? And how long ago did they plant that seed? Who took care of the tree in order to make it do it? You know what I'm saying? Where did the water come from to water that tree? How many people didn't get to drink water because that tree needed water? You know what I'm saying? I mean, because then we start respecting that process, and in respecting that process, one, we find out how to make it better. Two, we learn how to do the business through the process, right? Because one of the things that I love about Claude Anderson. Claude Anderson is talking about vertically controlling the business from the beginning all the way to the end. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that we're talking to our young people about right now is getting our hands into some industry where we are able to control from the very beginning all the way out to the hand of the customer. You know what I'm saying? Where you control every step of the process, and in controlling every step of the process, money change hands. And if you control that community in which that process is moving through, if you understand how processes work and how processes can benefit you, you should be able to set up a process that not only benefits you, but benefits your family, your tribe, and your nation. All right, yo. So I want to say this has been a pleasure to sit down and talk with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you got something from it. Hopefully you got some comments from it. Remember, this is Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. This is a Tribal Quotes, Day 89. And of course, you know this is a 100% production. Last but not least, you know we always strive to blow up those old paradigms. You know what I'm saying? Gotta blow them up, just get rid of them. Because when we get rid of those old paradigms, we can see a new world. And with that, I would like to thank you. And with that, we're going.